Angles, it's Miss Galler here. So this week we're going to talk about the central idea of a story and text evidence to back it up. So the central idea of a story is basically what the story is centrally about. And then the text evidence is providing evidence from the text to prove that that's the central idea. So the story that we're going to read today is one of my favorite books. It's called Last Stop on Market Street. And let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to move my face a little bit if I can. Well, let's see how this works. Okay, so Last Stop on Market Street, words by Matt de la Pena and pictures by Christian Robinson. CJ pushed through the church doors, skipped down the steps. The outside air smelled like freedom, but it also smelled like rain, which freckled CJ's shirt and dripped down his nose. He ducked under his Nana's umbrella, saying, "How come we gotta wait for the bus and all this wet?" "Trees get thirsty too," his Nana told him. "Don't you see that big one drinking through a straw?" CJ looked for a long time, but he never saw a straw. From the bus stop, he watched water pool on the flower petals, watched rain patter against the windshield of a nearby car. His friend Colby climbed in, gave CJ a wave, and drove off with his dad. "Nana, how come we don't got a car?" "Boy, what do we need a car for? We got a bus that breathes fire, and old Mr. Dennis, who always has a trick for you." The bus creaked to a stop in front of them. It sighed and sagged, and the doors swung open. "What's that I see?" Mr. Dennis asked. He pulled a coin from behind CJ's ear and placed it in his palm. Nana laughed her deep laugh and pushed CJ along. They sat right up front. The man across the way was tuning a guitar. An old woman with curlers had butterflies in a jar. Nana gave everyone a great big smile and a good afternoon. She made sure CJ did the same. The bus lurched forward and stopped, lurched forward and stopped. Nana hummed as she knit. "How come we always gotta go here after church?" CJ said. "Miguel and Colby never have to go nowhere." "I feel sorry for those boys," she told him. "They'll never get a chance to meet Bobo or the Sunglass Man. And I hear Trixie got herself a brand new hat." CJ stared out the window, feeling sorry for himself. He watched cars zip by on either side, watched a group of boys hop curbs on bikes. A man climbed aboard with a spotted dog. CJ gave up his seat. "How come that man can't see?" "Boy, what do you know about seeing?" Nana told him. "Some people watch the world with their ears." "That's a fact. Their noses too," the man said, sniffing at the air. "That's a mighty fine perfume you're wearing today, ma'am." Nana squeezed the man's hand and laughed her deep laugh. Two older boys got on next. CJ watched as they moved on by and stood in back. "Sure wish I had one of those," he said. Nana sat down her knitting. What for? You got the real live thing sitting across from you. Why don't you ask the man if he'll play us a song? CJ didn't have to. The guitar player was already plucking strings and beginning to sing. To feel the magic of music, the blind man whispered, I like to close my eyes. Nana closed hers too. So did CJ and the spotted dog. And in the darkness, the rhythm lifted CJ out of the bus, out of the busy city. He saw sunset colors swirling over crashing waves, saw a family of hawks slicing through the sky, saw the old woman's butterflies dancing free in the light of the moon. CJ's chest grew full, and he was lost in the sound, and the sound gave him the feeling of magic. The song ended and CJ opened his eyes. Everyone on the bus clapped, even the boys in the back. Nana glanced at the coin in CJ's palm. CJ dropped it in the man's hat. Last stop on Market Street, Mr. Dennis called. CJ looked around as he stepped off the bus. Crumbling sidewalks and broken down doors, graffiti tagged windows, and boarded up stores. He reached for Nana's hand. How come it's always so dirty over here? She smiled and pointed to the sky. Sometimes when you're surrounded by dirt, CJ, you're a better witness for what's beautiful. CJ saw the perfect rainbow arcing over the soup kitchen. He wondered how his Nana always found beautiful where he never even thought to look. He looked all around them again at the bus rounding the corner out of sight, and the broken street lamps still lit up bright, and the stray cat shadows moving across the wall. When he spotted their familiar faces in the window, he said, I'm glad we came. He thought his Nana might laugh her deep laugh, but she didn't. She patted him on the head and told him, Me too, CJ. Now come on. The end. Okay, so now we're going to talk about what the central idea is and evidence from the text. So I am going to move myself down a little bit more so you can see me better. All right, that's a lot better. Okay, so I want you to take a minute and think about what do you think the central idea of the story is. So go ahead and pause the video and take 1 minute to think about it. And then unpause, and then I'll tell you what I have. So for the central idea, so CJ's Nana teaches him to appreciate what he has and to see the beauty in the world. And now we come to evidence from the text. So again, I'd like to ask you to pause and think about parts of the story that support that central idea. So here's some evidence from the text. So one piece of evidence is that CJ's Nana tells him that trees need water too when he was talking about walking in the rain. So when CJ was wondering why they had to take the bus and didn't have a car, she said that the bus driver always has tricks for him and always, I'm sorry. and mentions all the interesting characters that they ride with. So she was basically saying that they're the ones that are missing out because they don't get to meet all the wonderful people that they get to see every week when they ride the bus. And also at the very end, when they're finally on the last stop on Market Street and they're walking towards the soup kitchen, CJ asked his grandmother why everything was surrounded by dirt. And he looked up and saw a rainbow. And she told him, she said, sometimes, CJ, when you're surrounded by dirt, you're a better witness to what is beautiful. So that's all evidence from the text to support the central idea. So that was Last Stop on Market Street. And for the rest of the time that you have left for our class, I'd like for you to do some independent reading. And I want you to think about what the central idea is and what evidence from the book or books that you read that support that central idea. Okay? All right, guys, I'll see you next week. Bye.